I'm now finished with the bag. I replaced the shank on my sewing machine and stayed up till 1 in the morning finishing it. I'm a lot happier with this lid. As you can see, I've decided to replace those 1-inch rectangular rings with D-rings instead. I just thought that would look better. I've attached those to the compression straps and then attached the compression straps to the top layer of the lid using several bar tacks. I've also attached the female ends of the side release buckles to the top layer of the lid using box X stitches. Once that was done, I finished attaching the two layers of the lid together using a single seam. I used a 3/8 seam allowance, and then folded a 1-inch grosgrain ribbon and then used two seams to attach that. You see some of the spots on the other underside, especially around the corners. Didn't come out looking as clean, but it's functional and I'm happy with it. I've got the straps attached. If you're watching this in a playlist and you're wondering why I didn't show these being made, that's actually in a separate playlist. It's entitled Sewing a Tactical Style Backpack Strap. It's amongst my other videos. I made these a while back before I made the backpack. I'm considering the backpack done for now, but there are a few improvements that I do want to make in the future. I stated in a earlier video that I was originally intending to leave an opening here at where this padding is attached to the backpack. That way I can slip this strap behind the padding and tuck it away so it's not just hanging there. I still need to do that. It shouldn't be too hard. I'll probably just hand sew some bar tacks here and on the sides where the strap's attached, and then I'll just seam rip through where this grosgrain ribbon is attached to the backpack. Another thing I realize I need to do now that we're in hindsight is when I designed the bag, it was designed to be a lot like an Alice pack, and the way an Alice pack is sewn together is these compression straps are sewn to the bottom of the bag, and then there's usually a buckle here. That's the way a regular Alice pack is designed. I decided to do it the same way, but in hindsight I'm realizing I should have just tacked it here and just left these straps loose. The reason I think it needs to be that way is because these are supposed to function as compression straps, which means if I got something small but heavy in there, I want it compressed in close to my back, and you basically do that by cinching down these compression straps. But when I cinch these down, there's only one way for it to compress, which is basically for the bottom to roll up. Now I got all this Powell's webbing here, and I'm probably going to have a bunch of different pouches attached to the bottom here most of the time, and I don't want it compressing up like that. What I need it to do is I need these two pieces of webbing to basically come together and compress that way. And in order to do that, I need this section of webbing to be loose, so that as I cinch down, basically the bottom compresses together like that. That should be a pretty easy fix. Basically all I have to do is bar tack right here and here, and then cut these stitches out to basically make this loose. I'll probably be doing that in the future. At the moment, I don't even want to look at another sewing machine for a few months. But let's just assume that in the future I got it done. Now, originally when I was designing the bag, one thing I didn't like about my Mini Alice pack was it has no grab handle at the top. So I'm always grabbing it by the shoulder strap, or I'm grabbing it by the lid just to pick it up and move it somewhere. And originally, when I was first designing this, I was planning on having a piece of 1-inch webbing just going across the two compression straps to be used as a grab handle. But as I was sewing it together and I was thinking about it, I decided that instead of using a piece of 1-inch webbing, I would rather just have one made out of paracord. I don't know if you're familiar with woven paracord bracelets, but it's basically just you take paracord, you weave it together, but instead of a bracelet, it'll just be woven in between these two compression straps at this point here. And the advantage of doing that is not only does it look cool, but if you're ever in a situation where you need some cordage, it's like, well, you can just sacrifice that grab handle, pull that paracord off of there, and then you've got yourself some paracord. I'll probably be doing that in the near future, but before I do, I actually got to go out and buy more paracord. I realized when I was putting the drawstring on this bag that I was almost completely out of paracord. Luckily, I found a piece that was just long enough for what I needed. Otherwise, I was going to have to pull some off of a tarp that I actually need for like a guy line. But that'll come in the future. So probably in a week or so, I'm going to shoot another video. By then, I'll have worn the backpack out. I'll have carried stuff in it. And I'll be able to tell you a little bit about how it feels to wear. And I'll also go over all the features that I built into the backpack and go into detail about if they worked out the way I intended. And probably I'll move that video to the front of the playlist so that you can see the backpack in its completed form, and then every video after that will be building the backpack.